I think when people hear the term human trafficking, they think of movement. It connotes movement. People being moved from one place to another. And in our globalized world, that is certainly a factor that's involved, that people are moved across international borders. But we've come to realize that trafficking is not just about moving people across borders, it's about exploitation. And so in that way, slavery and human trafficking are synonymous. So there are more technical ways to define it, that it's the transportation or the harboring of individuals through means of force, fraud, or coercion, and for the purpose of some type of exploitation.
The basic definition of human trafficking is the business of inducing a person to perform labor or engage in prostitution through force, fraud, or coercion. You may not know this, but everyday products that are found in your household are made by human traffic victims.
Here are some statistics that will help you become more aware of human trafficking as an issue. According to some estimates, approximately 80% of trafficking involves sexual exploitation and 19% involves labor exploitation. The International Labor Organization estimates that women and girls represent the largest share of forced labor victims, with 11.4 million traffic victims compared to 9.5 million men. There are approximately 20 to 30 million slaves in the world today. Between 14,500 and 17,500 people are trafficked into the U.S. each year. According to the U.S. State Department, 600,000 to 800,000 people are trafficked across the international borders every year, of which 80% are female and half are children. As a whole, human trafficking is a very lucrative industry that around the globe rakes in approximately $150 billion.
The importance of human trafficking is that basic human rights are violated. From an American standpoint, these rights are liberty and the pursuit of happiness. But this is not limited to our Constitution because human rights are global. Human trafficking victims are stuck in a cycle of debt with their captors. As they are forced to do what is asked of them, they can get harmed, and the only way they can afford treatment is by getting help from their captors. This is what keeps them oppressed and takes away their liberty and pursuit of happiness, as they are forced to stay in the cycle. Most victims of human trafficking within the United States are runaway children. Their captors entice them with a better life and job or a purpose to help them. Many children missing that are not found are expected to be victims of human trafficking.
Pepe and his unfortunate path to becoming a victim of human trafficking. Pepe was a young teen attending school and living a normal life. His parents, however, were neglectful and did not show love and care to Pepe. Pepe, wanting to find a better life, runs away from home. Pepe comes across a man who shares a proposal with him. He offers Pepe a new place to live and a well-paying job. Pepe is vulnerable because of his parents' neglect and accepts the offer without knowing what horrors await. Pepe is transported out of the country to an unknown location where he's forced to do hard labor with other victims. His captors drive him relentlessly, and at the end of the day he gets paid little to nothing. One day, Pepe breaks his leg on the job. He cannot afford to take care of it on his own. He has to turn to his captors for help. They get him minimal treatment, and he is now in debt to his captors, with the only way to pay is by more hard labor. Pepe is a labor trafficking victim, stuck in a cycle of debt bondage, and has little chance of escaping on his own. You have to feel bad, man, for Pepe. So, what policies are in place to help victims like Pepe?
Here in the US, our government is actively passing legislation in order to better combat human trafficking. Most prominently, we have the TVPA, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. Our government proceeded with the TVPRS, the Trafficking Victims Reauthorization Act, which built upon the original and created multiple laws addressing punishment and further regulation. There were 4 amendments added to this act that further address trafficking. Other laws also created are the PROTECT Act, which established the Amber Alerts that everyone actually receives on their phones whenever there is a possible kidnapping victim in the area. Another law was the Survivors of Human Trafficking Empowerment Act, which created the United States Advisory Council for Human Trafficking to advise the President on how to further combat trafficking. Our government is actively creating new laws to help combat human trafficking around the nation and around the world. However, they need support of the people in order to better fulfill the goal of stopping human trafficking. There's still a lot more to be done. Awareness must be spread, ideally in a similar way to breast cancer awareness, through events and possibly media campaigns to better fund organizations doing their part and warning everyone about the dangers of human trafficking.
Young people should be more involved for a variety of reasons, the biggest being that they are the biggest targets because they can easily be convinced to do work for these people. A lot of young people in the US live in poverty, have family problems, are ignored by their family, or have trouble finding a job. So when promised by a stranger that they could become rich and have a much better life, obviously it sounds good to them, and this is when they become a victim. If more young people got involved, they could raise awareness and potentially save one of their peers from being a victim of human trafficking.
Youth involvement can be a big step towards spreading awareness of human trafficking, and there are many ways in which one could do so. For example, spreading awareness socially through social media, such as posting pictures and links that may redirect to charities or organizations that help promote awareness. Another way the youth can get involved is by having schools sponsor anti-human trafficking groups, such as Blue Heart International's Break the Barcode campaign, whose mission is to raise public awareness initiatives to reach those most at risk and provide financial assistance to human trafficking survivors. We should implement such campaigns in the educational lives of children, such as the DARE program was a part of schools. Hosting a chocolate campaign is another great way for youth to get involved. Not for Sale offers a chocolate fundraiser that helps to raise awareness of modern day slavery as well as raising money to prevent it. Overall, Human Trafficking Awareness Day, which is on January 11th, should be better publicized to communities so that it is a known national holiday.
If everyone helps spread awareness of human trafficking and stays alert, incidents of trafficking could be greatly reduced. Together we can help stop human trafficking and make Pepe's all across the globe feels good again.